Hello and good morning, LHS community. Welcome to a brand new edition of Holding Court here on the First Day Hoops Report YouTube channel. I am, of course, First Day Hoops Report founding editor and Holding Court host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. Recording this on a Sunday morning, and the time change has your boy all messed up. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I'm still literally trying to wake up. so, um, I got up. I opened my eyes and I was because my phone automatically updates the time when it's spring forward and fall back. Thank goodness. So I had the right time, but I just couldn't believe that after the sun not coming up until 7:30, most of last week it was 6:15 and the sun was literally peeking through my window, and it was like, okay, do I have to get up? Yeah, I got to get up. So actually, it's probably good that I get up anyway because today I'm going to be doing some house cleaning while the NFL is on because I I I plan to decorate my house. Yes, I'm one of those people that loves Christmas. And yes, people are looking at this like, Chris, it's November 5th. We still have another 6 weeks. So Christmas is Christmas, man. I have the decorations ready. I have to pull the decorations out, figure out where I want to put them in my house. If I do want to have it, because I have a kitchen window that leads out to the development behind me. I'm trying to decide, do I really want to go all out with my Christmas decorations this year? So yes, I am one of those people. I love decorating my house for Christmas. I love hot chocolate. I love apple cinnamon desserts. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now before we get started in basketball. Pumpkin spice, all this pumpkin spice stuff is seriously overrated. I don't get the allure. I don't. Maybe somebody who's a little more well versed in the history of the pumpkin can let me know why it's such a big deal this time of year, but I don't get it. Apple cinnamon is the far superior dessert, variable. That's just my opinion on things. There's actually an apple cinnamon cheesecake crumb cake thing that I want to try. Some recipe that I found on Instagram that I'm going to try and probably put on my personal YouTube channel at some point if it looks good. I'm not going to just put something that looks like "Who Shot John," as my grandmother used to say, up on social media. So you won't see that cake unless it actually looks decent. So yeah, very much looking forward to cleaning up this house today, pulling out my decorations. I'm not going to decorate today, but I'm going to at least pull them out so I can sift through them. So figure out what I'm going to use, what I'm not going to use, and if I need to go out and get some more stuff. So yeah, I'm up early. I'm I'm reasonably well rested. So let's talk. We here now. You know what else is here? Winter practice. Basketball tryouts and practice starts Monday. Of course, this is Sunday morning as I'm recording this. Of course, by the time y'all will get to see this, practice will have started. So yeah, very excited for this coming basketball season. This is going to be our 5th year of high school basketball coverage for First Day Hoops Report. And the last 4 years have been very interesting. We've had fun doing it. We've run into some situations where there's been conflicts with people, with organizations. But most of all, I had a conversation with someone last night, and very interesting. Said this person told me you can't keep giving people attention that are detracting from what you're trying to do. And I never thought about it that way because I've always been very, on alert and defensive of in defending my profession, my professionalism, the quality of what I do. And after a while, after I talked to that person last night and I thought about it, when I went to bed and I woke up this morning, I was like, yo, they got a point. It's like, you just can't keep, giving people what they want, which is attention. So, yeah, like I said on the previous episode, y'all see me addressing people that have nothing to do with First Day Hoops Report official business, call me out on it. Say, Chris, don't do that. And yes, this includes kids that watch this, the athletes that watch this too. If y'all see me talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with y'all, say, don't do it. And it's like, all right, got you. Back on business. Back to standing on business, as y'all like to say these days. But yes, basketball practice starts tomorrow, and we are very excited because this year it seems like there's a clear-cut favorite on both sides for boys and girls championships. Because I put something up on the Instagram page, in the Instagram stories of First Day Hoops Report Saturday evening, and I said I'm gonna drop some questions on y'all, and y'all answer them. And I'm not gonna put anybody out there because providing anonymity for the kids is important because they answer the questions too. The parents, I really don't feel emboldened to give them that same anonymity because we're all adults. You know what you say, you stand on what you say. But I mean, there's nothing offensive in those comments. So I mean, it's like, I'll just say I'll just say what the results were. And a lot of people, of course, like Sally's to win the boys championship. I saw a couple of votes for Dover. I saw a handful of votes for St. Elizabeth. Saw one for Howard. Saw one for Conrad. Ursuline is definitely the clear-cut favorite on the girls' side. So a couple of votes for Smyrna. I was really surprised to only see one vote for Caravel because I think that Caravel team is exceptionally deep. They got Jordan Tate from Ursuline. They got Cherish Bryan from Tatnall. Already coming in, they already had Speedy Wilson, Anaya Price, who just committed to Kutztown University. Congratulations to Anaya. Josiah Crawford, Bryson Strickning. That's a deep team. That's a good, solid 7 that you will have problems with come playoff time because while the guards are not very tall, the post players are exceptional. Tate, she can, hold anchor down there, rebound, has soft touch around the basket. Bryceland has excellent footwork, and she can drive and, she hit the outside shot. And Larry Banks is a really good coach, as we saw last year. You figure going when Kristen Caldwell steps away, there would be a point of adjustment for that team under Coach Banks after winning the state championship, and they still got back to a Final Four. So let's not dismiss that Caravel team either. You can't dismiss the defending champion Sanford either. Jada Snow is coming back. Tyler Edwards is coming back. Naomi Allen and Layla Mahoney are going to have another year of experience. So that's a really good top 3 right there. And Cape Henlopen, I feel like Cape Henlopen is the best public school team on the girls' side right now. So that's, those are just some of the teams that I feel like are going to be good. Smyrna is going to be another team that makes a leap this year. AI DuPont still has a lot of young talent. They should win Flight B again this year. Apo has, some transfers coming in to add to what they already have with Kyla Reed, Deja Martin, and Sophia Montabell, and girls like that. So, yeah, girls. The girls' side it's not going to be a cakewalk for anybody who gets to the Final Four, but it's fair to say that the Final Four is going to be the Final Four that we mostly expect: the Ursuline, the Sanford, Caravel, Saney. If they get there, wouldn't be a surprise. Cape, if they get there, doesn't be a surprise. Woodbridge, if they get there, doesn't be a surprise. So, very much looking forward to that part of it. I mean, yeah, and the girls' player of the year, that one was a runaway. Like when I posted that story, I was like, who's the girls' player of the year? Who do you think wins the girls' player of the year? 2 letters. Actually, 1 letter. Twice repeated. Gigi. Giselle Banks. Yeah. And I feel like that's a fair assessment, because these are the kids that play. These are the coaches that coach. These are the parents that watch the kids play. And you can't say that a freshman basketball player being the best player in the state is unprecedented because it's happened before. On the girls' side, many times, as a matter of fact. Many times at Ursuline, as a matter of fact, because we had Elena Deladon earlier this century. And if you go back to the mid-'80s, there, of course, was Val Whiting, who, of course, went on to play at Stanford and played in the ABL and the WNBA. So somehow Ursuline seems to get these phenoms, these prodigies, these wonder children that come in as 8th and 9th graders and wreck shop right away. It's a very interesting tradition that Ursuline has of getting these top-level girls. I mean, but of course, they have the most state championships of any girls program in the history of the state of Delaware, so makes sense. But yeah, Gigi definitely is the clubhouse favorite, as we like to say, for girls player of the year. I feel like Jada Snow works her way into that conversation as well. Erica Huggins for sure. Reagan Robinson down at Woodbridge. Thing with Kate is they have so much talent, and Pat Woods is probably not going to want to hear this, even though he's one of my biggest supporters and biggest encouragers. Shout out to Coach Woods. He's always, dropping kind words my way about the stuff that I do. And I know Coach Woods isn't going to want to hear this, but it's going to be hard. I mean, they have so much talent in Cape that the votes are going to split for all state. I feel that coming right now. I mean, Amalia Fruchtman is very good. Faith Ray is a knockdown shooter. Hayden Hudson is their rebounding big who can score around the basket. So there's a lot on that Cape team to like. That's why I feel like they'll be the 4th team in the Final Four. But as far as player of the year and all state stuff, it's going to be hard because there's so much talent spread out around the state this year. You've got, Reagan Robinson at Woodbridge, Kai Burnett at Smyrna, Kyla Reed at Apo. Who else makes a leap this year, I feel like? I mean, Ursuline, for crying out loud. You've got Gigi Taylor and Skylar Bolden. That three right there. Hello. It's going to be hard for us on the DSBA basketball committee to put together this girls all-state team. Same for the boys, too. I'll get to the boys in a minute. But I want people to understand, once again, when we talk about the voting process, and I don't put too much out there because there's something about defending my coworkers and my colleagues that I'm very staunch about. Like, I don't put people's votes out there. I don't put people's opinions on players out there because that's not my place. My place is to tell you what I think about players and what my organization, well, I am the organization, for crying out loud. So I guess I can just say it. My job is to tell you what I'm seeing. I can't tell you what Brad at the News Journal is seeing. I can't tell you what Andy at the State News is seeing. I can't tell you what Mike and Winch at 302 are seeing. I can't tell you what anyone else is seeing. I can only tell you what I can see through what Chris Stevens at First State Hoops Report sees through these two eyes. Well, actually four, but again, I don't wear glasses on the stream because I'm nearsighted and it would just look really crazy. My eyes are just like, we can't have that. So yeah, I can only tell you what Chris Stevens sees. But yes, I mean, our vote process, it's fair, it's democratic. Everyone who pays their dues and that has watched at least, we'll say not 2/3, a third or maybe even half of basketball in the state of Delaware this year can vote. And the coaches get a chance to vote too. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. People think it's just a handful of us in a room and we just, pick names out of a hat and that's all state. Nope. We have coaches that vote too. And I'm not putting the coaches on blast in a negative way, but I'm just saying that there's a process. I mean, there's more than just one entity that helps form DSBA's all-state basketball team. So for parents, coaches, trainers, friends of these players, family members of these players, again, this process is not something that we take lightly. It's not a popularity contest for any of us. We go on what we see. We go on what the coaches submit back to us. Then we have a nice lunch. Shouts out to Mr. Chuck Durante, the president of the DSBA, who always takes us to a nice spot to eat every year when we do DSBA. It's rare that you get to eat good while working in journalism. I'll have to tell y'all more about that story at another date. But yeah, Chuck takes us to really nice places to eat when we have these DSBA meetings and different things of that nature. So we eat good. We talk about the basketball season. We count up the votes, and then it's like, all right, we got our all-state teams in. We have to wait until a certain time of day to put out those results. And I can happily say that, being in that room is probably one of the highlights of my career because as long as I've been doing this, it's been rare that I've been given the opportunities to vote on a doggone thing. So being a part of DSBA is a responsibility that I don't take lightly as far as basketball or anything else. So very much proud and happy to be among the voters who help, bring light to the kids here in the state of Delaware. So yeah, that's just one thing. Got off track there, but yeah, girls, I think if we break it down conference by conference, it's fairly easy to see who the favorites are in each league. I feel like AI is going to repeat in Flight B, but it's not going to be easy because Hodson is coming down, and they've got the Torres sisters. They got Marissa Isbell on the team. That's a very good team who just missed the state tournament in a competitive Flight A last year. Flight B, no disrespect, is not going to be as competitive as Flight A was on the girls' side last year. So I feel like AI wins Flight B for the girls, but Hodson and Howard are going to be very good. Howard's girls, they may not be very big, but they play very hard under Curtis Clack. And that team last year with sophomores and juniors won 14 games. So one more year of experience is only going to make that Howard team better. Those Howard Hodson games were fun in the middle part of the 2010s when Hodson had Janiah Perkins Jackson and Kayla Braxton Young, and Howard had Renasia and Renee Blatch Huggins and Jamel Hollis. So that rivalry gets renewed this year with Christiana going up to Flight A and Hodson coming back down to Flight B, which is probably where they should have been the whole time, quite honestly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Flight A feels like this is apples to lose this year. I mean, they've got a lot of talent. I mean, I've mentioned Kyla Reed, Deja Martin, Sophia Montabell. They've got Danye Samuels coming in from St. George's, Leah Henlin coming in from AI. So they're going to, I mean, that's another team that's really guard heavy, but they're guard heavy in a way that they have skilled guards. I mean, it's not just, the smallest players on the floor that, it's just they're out there because you have to put a team together. No, you have guards that can shoot. You have guards that can defend. You have guards that can rebound. So that's going to be a very good team. Again, and Kevin Smith does a tremendous job at that school from year to year. Who else? I feel like Middletown can challenge them. I mean, because that young team, that core of Layla Jacobs, Gabrielle Danquois, I mean, that's going to be a team. Bria Harding. That team has been freshmen and sophomores the last couple of years. Brendan Mann does a good job coaching him. I feel like they'll be in the hunt this year. I feel like those are the top two. St. George still has Raina Ferris and shoot. I'm going to be so mad at myself. Amaya Mills. Golly, she's one of the people that comments the most on First Day Hoops Report stuff. How did I forget Amaya's name that fast? Sorry, Amaya. But yeah, they still got Amaya Ferris, Raina Ferris, Amaya Mills, and Aaliyah Lee. So yeah, that's not going to be a bad team this year, but I feel like, losing Danye is probably going to hurt them a little bit at least. So, but yeah, I feel like Apple wins Flight A. Yeah, Middletown and St. George's will be close behind, and they should have enough points to make the state tournament, I feel like. So yeah. Independent conference, do we really need to? Well, no, let me not say that. Let me not say that. Sanford is obviously going to be the favorite as they've been in that conference for the last decade plus. But it really depends on what Tatnall's and Tower Hill's new coaches bring in, because Tatnall and Tower Hill both have new coaches that are well known in the state of Delaware, mind you. Tatnall, of course, their girls coach is Micah Edwards, who played at the University of Delaware, played for the Delaware Blue Bombers for a time. He was an assistant at Appo, and actually he was head coach at Appo, and an assistant at William U's men's program for a few years. He takes over the women's program. And Tower Hill has Adriana Hahn as the coach now. So, yeah, one of the best players of this century here in the state of Delaware on the girls' side, another 8th grade phenom from Ursuline. She will be taking over the Tower Hill girls program. And so when you have a young coach who's as skilled and as talented as she was as a player, she's still Villanova's all-time leading three-point makes leader. So you bring her into the equation, some girls that probably would have gone to St. E's, girls that probably would have gone to Ursuline or Sanford. Probably they may filter over to Tower Hill now. And St. E's is probably going to be back on the upswing, of course, with Ty Taylor taking over their girls program. You have Erica Huggins to be your linchpin in your first year. And I mean, we saw Sticks last year. I mean, she balled out. I mean, she literally was Russell Westbrook of the girls basketball circuit. She defended, she scored, she crashed the boards, she made plays, created plays for her other teammates because she had to. I mean, that was a short-handed St. E's team last year, and somehow they still got to 500 and won a first-round game, and it really gave Ursuline some trouble in that second-round matchup in the early going. So now that Coach Taylor's coming in with his wealth of knowledge and experience, that St. E's team, I feel like, I don't know if they're Final Four material this year. I could be wrong. Once again, this is just preseason thoughts. But, yeah, that St. E's team should be much better than they were last year because the coaching is better. Erica Huggins is going to have something to prove, that she should be player of the year. So it's going to be very exciting to watch on the girls' side. Moving over to the boys, once again, there's a clear favorite there. It's Lazy Animal. Of course, they won the whole shebang and bang last year. They've got Isaiah Henson coming back, Kareem Thomas, who's committed to Dartmouth, Justin Hines, who's getting some looks. That's a big three that can wipe out most big threes in this entire region because, Henson is your dog. He's your guy that, who you want the ball in his hands in clutch moments. Like we saw it last year in the Final Four. The teardrop that beats Middletown, the floater that put away William Penn. He's like – there's no moment that's too big for Isaiah Henson, as we've seen over the last couple of years. And this is a young man who improved tremendously from his freshman year. Like he was good as a freshman, don't get me wrong. But it seemed like he was hesitant. But then something clicked between his freshman year and sophomore year where he was like, okay, I am him. I'm the guy that, has the sweet jump shot. I'm big enough to go in the paint and draw contact and still finish. I'm gonna take my shots now. And his leap from freshman to sophomore year was absolutely sensational. And junior year, he was that guy. So now, as a senior with the experience, with the ring, you can count on him to be just as, a thorn in the side of the opponent as he's been the last 2 years. So, yeah, and of course, Kareem Thomas is a guy who can knock down shots. He can defend. Justin Hines is their post presence. Oh, yeah, Robbie Johnson Jr., once he gets done with football, he'll be another guy that can, make life miserable for an opposing post player. So you've got a really good, team, and Taylor Trevison does a good job. Like I'm going to set an over under, and this is not a advertisement or encouragement for gambling by any stretch of the imagination. Just want to put that out there. But I'm already trying to decide at which point in the season does Coach Trev throw his jacket down. It's one of the fun things that I've come to enjoy about. There are certain things about high school basketball in Delaware that I enjoy greatly. There's the Ursuline girls singing Sweet Caroline. There's Howard's should have been a Wildcat chant. There's Tower Hill having that unique home court advantage at the Carpenter where you can't tell, where if you're a person that has bad sight like I do, you have to turn up the light on your camera super high so you're making sure you get good shots. And then, of course, there's Taylor Trevison at some point in the season throwing down his jacket during the basketball season, so during a heated game. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I joked with him about that a couple years ago. I was like, wow, the jacket made it to the fourth quarter this time. And he just kind of shrugged at me. But yeah, the Taylor Trevison jacket throw was one of the most intriguing things about high school basketball here in the state of Delaware. But yeah, Sally's definitely has to be the favorite. But I think Middletown, now that they've got the Matthews young men have cleared transfer waivers, they are good. So I think Middletown's back in the hunt this year, obviously. Dover is going to be in the hunt. Darrell Little Jr. is down there now. He joins Denham Perkins, Javion Dennis, Ice Norwood. That's going to be a very good team as well. Howard returns a lot. RJ Matthews. And their JV that went 17-1 last year all moves up to varsity. And, of course, Nick Bass has had a tremendous summer. Like, I didn't know he could jump that high. Like, I'm going to give you guys context into how high Nick Bass gets up off the floor. I'm 5'10". I've stood next to the young man. He's about here. So I give him 5'8" at the most, but he dunks with ease. I can't tell you a time I've seen a kid 5'8", 5'9" at best who literally can just float the way Nick Bass does. But he's a very good, he's not just an athlete. He can handle the ball. He can shoot. Jeremiah Riley is going to give them a post presence that I feel like they missed last year. So same with Dominic. I'm not going to butcher his last name, but Dominic knows what I'm talking about. The Howard kids know who I'm talking about, and the Howard coaches know who I'm talking about. So, yeah, Howard's going to have some size this year. They're going to have good guard play. Do they win Flight B again? Yes. Will it be easy? No, because, again, Hodson's coming down, and Hodson's got a ton of talent, coming up. So, Flight B, but it's a clear 1-2 in Flight B. It's Howard, Hodson, and everybody else. Oh, no. Let me take that back. Brandywine's going to be very good. Brandywine had a tremendous summer. I saw them at the Crozier over at Newcastle. I always say Newcastle Powell when I mean Powell Wilmington, probably because I used to go to Newcastle Powell when the Blue Bombers played there. So, yeah, Wilmington Powell. I saw them at the Crozier over there, and they play very inspired basketball. Full court press, guard play, wings that can get to the basket and create their own shots and make knockdown shots. So, yeah, 3 teams: Howard, Hodson, Brandywine. Everybody else, I guess they'll work. I can't discount Glasgow either because Chris Laws is over there now. Chris Laws is a really good coach, and he's going to have something to prove because his alma mater, I can't, me and Chris and I have been trying to work on having a conversation about that, in public, in a public forum for a few months. And I keep, work gets busy for me. He's an administrator at school. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I feel like Glasgow will be a team that can make some noise eventually in Flight B. But I feel like Flight B is Howard's to lose at this point. It still is. So Flight A, it's a little more complicated than that. You've got Middletown, who won it last year. You've got William Penn now, of course, who has the services of Jalen Horsey and Rashid Ushery Henry coming in. So, and then of course you still have Emmanuel Vonum over there, Elon McCoy, Mahari Campbell, Jari Coles. I mean, Gary Lumpkin and Taylor Davis are the guys who put William Penn on the map. So when you have those guys coaching those young men, yeah, that's a really good team. Appo is still going to be good. Daniel Harvey, the point guard. Ray Carrier's over there. I think one thing that might hurt them is Eric Mathang transferred to Middletown. So he was before he got hurt last year, he was definitely their best, wing big player. But he's over at Middletown now. That's another reason Middletown's going to be pretty doggone good. So I can't pick a Flight A winner at this point. I can't. St. George is still going to be very good with Jaden Bull leading that team. So I can't tell you I can't predict who's going to win Flight A at this point. It's impossible. That is a league where you're going to have to watch each night to see which team is going to do, each other dirty. Mount Pleasant's still going to be very good. Even though they lost the big fella to St. Andrews, Darnell Lloyd. But they've got the Lawrence twins coming over from St. E, so they'll still be very good. Flight A is deep. Flight A is very deep. Flight A had 6 teams make the tournament last year. Wouldn't surprise me if 6 more made it again this year. Very deep and talented conference over there. Independent conference is going to be very interesting because there's not a clear-cut favorite. Tatnall's young players are probably going to be better. Tower Hill will have to, I won't say rebuild after graduation of the Shepherd twins because they still have Kevin Coleman, who's a very good player. Sanford is going to go through a period of adjustment because, of course, Tommy Vaughn's gone. Chris Stanford's graduated. And they have a new coach. And the new coach is a favorite son and a key player in the history of that program, of course, is Khalid Hart, who won 3 straight state championships as a Sanford point guard under Stan Waterman in 2010, 2011, and 2012. So that is going to be interesting in itself. Tatnall, Tower Hill, and Friends. Friends, they'll probably have some trouble early because all of their best players are football players. The Tattersall brothers, they'll probably be playing football until December, I feel like. Let me see, because regular season ends for football this Friday. First round of the state tournament is the 18th. I think the semifinal, either semifinals or some semifinals will be the 25th, I feel like, Thanksgiving weekend. So, yeah, there's a good chance that Friends could make the D2, well, not the D2 anymore, the 2A state championship. Oh my God, that's something else I wanted to talk about. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'll get through my basketball thoughts for this season, and I'll talk about this Instagram post that I posted that went viral, kind of, sort of, for us. But yeah, independent conference, Diamond State. I didn't mention the Diamond State for the girls. I'm sorry, but yeah, I feel like the Diamond State for the girls, that's St. E's to lose, but Archmere you can't discount because Dan Pisani is a tremendous coach. Wilmington Charter still has some talented kids on the girls' side, but yeah, I feel like St. E's is that's St. E's to lose on the boys' side and the girls' side, but definitely on the boys' side. The boys, of course, we already have a major commitment. Well, I mean, any commitment for a high school kid here in Delaware to play college basketball is a major commitment. We're always proud of them, as I said last week. But yeah, Aiden Tobiasen is going to Temple. He's another guy who's a preseason favorite for Player of the Year, and another on another team that has being considered to win have state championship potential in St. E's. He's going to Temple. Very much excited. Temple has a very interesting pipeline when it comes to Delaware because in the 80s, Temple had 3 Delaware players on the roster during Don Casey and John Chaney's run as head coach. We had, of course, Terrence Stansberry, who was the first born and bred Delaware kid to make it to the NBA. He came from Newark High. Mr. Charles Rain, who was a 2-time Player of the Year down at Indian River when they won the state championship. He played at Temple. And Nicola McNeish, who originally came from Jamaica but played his high school ball at AI, was on the Temple team as well in the 80s. So it's very interesting that after 40 years, the Delaware pipeline has reestablished itself with Temple, and that Aiden is going up there. Very much looking forward to seeing Aiden play at the next level. His senior year is probably going to be something that we remember for a long time around here. So yeah, I feel like Diamond State, that's St. E's to lose. Archmere still has some good kids. Wilmington Charter is going to be much improved, I feel like. Same for Newark Charter. MOT is a team you probably can't sleep on either. DMA has some good kids as well. They have a new coach. So Diamond State is going to be interesting, but I feel like that St. needs to lose. The Henlopen North, that is going to be a dogfight from start to finish. Yes, Dover has the most talent, but CR is a team you're not going to be able to take lightly. Cape has Kashmir Wise now. Smyrna's kids are growing up. That Milford was very good last year. They may take a leap as well. So do I think Dover wins it? Sure. Do I think it'll be easy? Of course not. The Henlopen South, that is another league that is going to be one that you can't really put your finger on. Feels like Seaford can still be decent, even though they lost everybody. Let's call it what it is. They lost everybody. They can still be decent because Vince Evans is a good coach. Woodbridge still returns a lot. Laurel, I like what they have left, but I mean, that program has suffered through so much devastation, with respect to the, it still bothers me to talk about Corey Mumford. I'm not going to lie, because that was a young man who I enjoyed watching play tremendously last year. Like, he played with a ferocity and intensity and a skill level that was definitely college basketball material. Like, that was a young man who literally knew that his senior year was his best shot and he was not going to let it slip. And even just watching him at Nigel Alexander's One Journey thing, like, you see a kid like that and that intense on the court, but he was just as cool and, easy going around his fellow high school classmates. And like I said, it still bothers me tremendously to talk about him in the past tense, because I felt like he was a young man with a bright future and somebody cruelly took that future from him. And yeah, like, when you think about it, I'm a guy who has lived in Wilmington my whole life. I've seen a lot of people's lives altered by gun violence, drug addiction, drug trafficking, and all these different things in it. It's still, no matter if they're a ball player or not, I mean, it's still just sad to see good people, end up in fatalistic situations. And it just really still bothers me, to talk about Corey, because I felt like, again, watching him play last year was fun because he just didn't care. Like, he didn't care who you were. He was going to give you the business every chance he got. But yeah, that Laurel program has suffered through so much devastation. I mean, there was another shooting involving Laurel kids recently. So yeah, that's going to be hard for them to overcome. But yeah. If you make me pick a Final Four for the boys, that's another thing I'm going to have a hard time with, because there's so much talent around the state. I can tell you that there's Sal's, there's Penn, there's St. Elizabeth's, there's Dover, there's Howard, there's Middletown, there's Appo. There's literally 10 or 15 teams on the boys' side that can make the Final Four, and none of us would be surprised. Sanford, Caravel. We haven't even talked about Caravel. Yeah. Caravel, they struggle through the regular season, but they get hot at the right time every year. I guess that's a Mark Tobin trademark. Shout out to Coach Tobin. You play when it counts. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be, it's easy to pick a girls' Final Four, to pick a boys' Final Four, whole different story. This is a scenario where we're going to have to just watch the season play out in front of us. And I think that's what you want anyway. You don't want to be able to just, pencil in teams and just say, okay, this team's Final Four, this team's Final Four, this team's Final Four, this team's Final Four. You want to say, ooh, this team looks like they could make the Final Four. This team looks like they could upset somebody on the way to the Final Four. So, yeah, very much looking forward to this season. Again, November 30th is the start date. No, actually, I see some games actually starting November 29th. I just remembered. But yeah, everything gets started for real the last week of November, right after Thanksgiving. I've said it before on this program, and I will say it again. We need to start basketball season Thanksgiving weekend. Every single year. Somebody needs to have the bright idea to put together some Thanksgiving invitationals. Thanksgiving invitational at the Field House. Thanksgiving invitational at Appo. Thanksgiving invitational at Dover. Thanksgiving invitational at Cape. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's let these kids play ball year round anyway. Why not start the season in November? For real. I mean, don't wait till the last 2 days of November. Start the John on the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd. Let's have some fun with it. Let's let these kids work off the turkey and the mac and cheese. Oh my God, I hate macaroni and cheese. I just want to put that out there. Don't invite me to your house and expect me to eat macaroni and cheese, just for the record. Not gonna happen. Sorry. But yeah. This show is getting really kind of long, so I want to really hurry up and address this interesting Instagram post that I posted actually last Sunday night, because I was going through the First Day Hoops Report Twitter feed, and someone was telling me that it's a joke that Delaware only has one champion and that private schools are allowed to compete in it. My response, because I am First Day Hoops Report, is that Delaware is one of only 3 states with I don't know why I just mess with my laptop or whatever, but Delaware is only one of 3 states with a single champion for boys and girls. In the top, so we're in the 1%, not even the 1%, the 0.6% of states in the union that have a single tournament. Have private schools, charter schools, and specialty schools kind of overrun things a little bit? Sure. But again, I will say it again until I'm blue in the face. And of course, as you can see, as a black man, that's going to be very hard to do. But until I'm blue in the face, I will say that the legislature has culpability in this. The homeowners in these neighborhoods that don't want to pay referendum taxes for improvements to public schools have a hand in it. People just stop caring about public education as a whole. They just stopped caring. And when you stop caring about that stuff, of course, people that come in with money to start charter schools, people in churches, faith-based institutions are going to step in and take these kids, and Votex that can offer career trades are going to come in and offer kids an opportunity. And yes, I'm a Votex grad. Proudly, mind you, proudly. But the fact that people don't care about public schools, that's why, basketball and certain sports like football and baseball are just not what they used to be at these schools, because the powers that be and the powers that be stopped caring about education, and the community stopped caring about public education. When the community stopped caring about public education, the legislators had no incentive to do so either. So yes, you will probably see a Salesianum, a Ursuline, a Sanford, a St. Elizabeth, a Caravel win a state championship. But that's not their fault. They're just taking advantage of what is being given. As basketball coaches will always say, take what the defense gives you. That's probably a football coach too. But yeah, take what the defense gives you. And right now, the defense is giving the entire state to private schools, faith-based institutions, charters, and Votex, because nobody cares about public schools. So I asked the question. I said, should Delaware have more than one state champion for basketball, boys and girls? Most people said no. Other people said yes. Other people said it's needed because the public schools that can't compete is demoralizing for them. And I'll say this, I'll give DIA and the football committee credit where credit is due, because 3A, 2A, 1A is a rousing success. Like, it is a runaway hit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was corny when they did it. I was like, it's been D1, D2 as long as I've been alive. D1, D2 started in 1975. I didn't come along until 1981, just for the record. But yeah, it was D1 and D2 for as long as I've been alive. So y'all are going to tell me. This was my thought back when they said we're going to redo football tournaments and football classifications. I said, so you guys are going to tell me that after 45 years, it is time to redo this whole process that people have become familiar to and become accustomed to. It works. It works. Like you see Tatnall and Wilmington Charter being competitive in football. You see Polytech this year. Sean Green, shout out to Sean Green of WDEL. He hit me up recently privately and said, do you know there's only been one public school that was founded in the 20th century that had never made a state tournament in football before? And I racked my brain, well, not a public school, but school period. And I racked my brain to try to figure out who it was. because I just couldn't think, because it felt like everybody made the state tournament at one point or another. He's like, nope, Polytech. And Polytech just clinched the Region 2 of 1A. So they'll be playing. So the Polytech Panthers football program will be playing in the state tournament for the first time in school history. It works. It works for football. I will give football credit where credit is due. Howard and Archmere and DMA and Red Lion and Caravel, they make a pretty good 2A, quite frankly. That's going to be a fun tournament to watch. 3A, Salesiana, Middletown, Cape Henlopen, Dover. It's crazy that Smyrna still has a shot at 3 and 6, but I mean, look, the system is what it is. But yes, credit is due to that. It works for football. It's not going to work that much for basketball. And I'm not going to say, and I'll say that a parent said that you guys in the comments are talking about boys basketball with the state tournament thing, and I get it. But there's no way there could be a 2A girls tournament, a second-tiered girls tournament. And I agree with that parent. I mean, there's just such a wide gap between who's good in girls basketball as opposed to who's good in boys basketball. I mean, it's just the game for the girls has come along slower. It's coming along, yes, but it's still coming along at a slower pace than it has for the boys. So there is no reason to have a tiered tournament for girls, and there's really not one to have a tiered tournament for boys, because the boys, we've seen upsets before. We've seen teams coming from out of nowhere and make a Final Four, win a state championship. They may not be the schools that you want them to be, but it's happened. But, the basketball team, from a basketball perspective, I guess from a school culture and a school community perspective, yeah, it's probably the same as always with private schools. But at the same time, there's still room for upsets. So, no, I don't think – my official opinion is the single state tournament is fine. But what I will say is an open tournament should come back into play, because we did an open tournament for the first 2 years post-pandemic. And that was some of the best, most entertaining. It was, if not the most skilled, it was the most entertaining state tournament play I can think of. The 21 and 22. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. And before, it's not like there hasn't been a precedent set before, because the state tournament was open between 1985 and 1988. And there was a different state champion for the boys every single year of the open tournament. Ursuline was just a steamroller at that point, for the girls. So it was just, everybody knew they were just going to get, they were going to get their lunch handed back to them by Ursuline. Get their lunch money stolen by Ursuline, I should say. But for the boys, it was a different matter. Howard won in 85. Sanford won in 86. Newark won in 87. Wilmington High won in 88. You had a different state champion every year of an open tournament. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. You just can't. So, yes, while, we need to stick to one tournament, we need to make it an open tournament. So everybody can at least have one. All the seniors can have at least one more game. The younger players on these teams that aren't going to win state championships can get more experience at a higher pressure stakes environment. So, yes. We're good with one tournament, but let's make it open. There's no point in just limiting it to 24 teams, because, the teams that are good are going to be the teams that are good. And if they're off chance on a night that they're not, then it's going to go down as a memorable upset. So, yes, consider this a vote and a modest plea, a modest proposal. If you've had an English class at any point in your life, you know what the modest proposal is. So, yes, consider this my modest proposal for an open state tournament going forward. Will it happen? Who knows? But let's put it out there. See what happens. Wow, 45 minutes. Talk too much, but we had a lot to talk about because basketball season is here. Basketball season is here. Very much excited. Thank y'all for watching this edition of Holding Court. Greatly appreciate y'all's time. As always, all the links, as usual, all the links and social media handles and contact information for us will be in the description below. We look forward to seeing you guys in the gym very shortly. Coaches, oh yes, final thought. Coaches, check your inboxes. Check your spam folders, because the First State Hoops Report preseason questionnaire, it will be in your inboxes this week. It's there. I will probably be recording reminders throughout the week to post on social media and the YouTube channel to remind 57 girls basketball coaches, 56 boys coaches to please, shout out to James Brown, please fill out your preseason questionnaire so we can make this year the previews the best yet. And if you remember last year, I did like a feature story leading into the previews. The two teams that I'm going to feature for the boys and girls, you'll have to wait for the previews to find out. They will hopefully go live December 1st. That's my goal. Have boys and girls previews out the weekend of December 1st. So coaches, I need those previews no later than November 29th. I know y'all are busy. I know y'all teach. I know y'all are still coaching other sports. But with your help, we can make this year the First Day Hoops Report preview of features the best ones yet. Please fill out those questionnaires. Okay, once again, thank y'all for watching and for holding court. Till the next time we speak to each other. Hold on, let me get this record. Let me get this in record button. All right, till next time we talk, take care of yourselves and each other. Damn it.